coworkers, work besties, work friends. What do you see them as? If you're new here, hi, I'm Melissa. I had something very weird happen to me recently, maybe about 3-4 weeks ago. So I have not worked at my previous job for 3 years. And I worked there maybe like a year and 7 months. I was a recruiter, staffing recruiter for an agency. And that's what I did. I did that from 2018 until 2023. And the person that was my work friend, work best friend, work bestie, she was probably like the first person to talk to me at that agency. She called me on Teams one day, asked me how I was doing. I thought it was kind of weird, but I quickly got to know who she was. And I'll do another video about this. I've done one on TikTok, I think it was TikTok, about workplace moles. And you gotta be careful who you're talking to, because sometimes your work bestie is not really your best friend. They're a mole. Anywho, I kept her close, and I knew she was friends with the boss. And when I first got hired there, it was as a remote worker. And that was great because that's what I was looking for. About 3 weeks in, they call me up and say, hey, you're going to a new team. And by the way, that's hybrid. Okay, how many days am I going to have to go into the office? Oh, 2. Okay, I'll do that. Mind you, I was sharing a vehicle with my son because I had gotten into a car accident in 2021 and got a different vehicle, but my son also got a job. So he was using that to go to his job on one end of the town. My job was way on the other end. So I said, okay, so that would allow him to go to work 3 days and me use the car for 2 days. It's fine. His boss is friends with my mother-in-law, so it was fine. Then they slowly worked it up to 3 days in office. I said, okay, so now I'm going in 3 days. He's only going to work 2. Kind of unfair now. Mind you, he was not making a whole lot. And it was his first job. He wanted to do very well there. And as a mother, I was thinking of him first. That's just what mothers do. They think of their kids first and put themselves dead last. Then they told me, we're going back full time. And I said, I was okay and compromised with the 2 days. Was kind of iffy on the 3. Now it's 5 days. I can't do that. I was hired as a remote worker. You've completely changed what I accepted. Here's my notice. And so it kind of stunk because it was the dream job. I'd been trying to get in there for 3 years. Finally got in there, was so happy. And how it was pitched to me was, you're just going to have to do the recruiting portion. There's a team that does the onboarding. You're just simply recruiting. Fantastic. Also, it's remote. Bonus. And the salary was... So I accepted. But then they changed the terms. And once they went full time, I said, no, I'm not going to ask my son to leave his job so I can go to a job that is now completely different than what I signed on for. So, parted ways and tried to start up a handmade jewelry business. That's another video in itself. And now I'm trying YouTube. Will I be successful at this? I have no idea. I do have one loyal person watching. You know who you are. I comment back on everything you post. So thank you for watching. I'm glad you find my videos relatable and entertaining somewhat, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I got off track. If you're new here, it's what I do. I don't script anything. Everything is in my brain. Anyways, I couldn't ask him to leave. So I left. And went about my life. And about a couple weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, normally I look at my phone when somebody calls because I don't want to answer a phone call that I don't know who it is. It's just who I am. But that day, for some odd reason, the phone rang and I didn't look and I answered it and I hear, "Is this Melissa?" But she said my whole name. And I recognized the voice and I quickly looked at the phone to confirm. And I go, "I don't know, is this Valerie?" And she goes, "Melissa, I have not worked for you or with you in 3 years. And you're calling me out of the blue. That's kind of odd." She proceeds to tell me all the horrible things that are going on in this company now. Everybody leaving, the horrible jobs that they have, the accounts they've lost. And I kid you not, in the same breath, she asked me if I was looking for a job. Do I want to work? No. Not when you tell me it's going to poop. No. No, the way they treated me, that how they just bamboozled me. I felt a certain way and I will never work for them again. I'm not going to say the company's name, but it is a well-known staffing agency that's color primarily is green. If you're in staffing, you know who I'm talking about. They lie to their employees. Anyways, I thought it was odd that she called me out of the blue 3 years later and asked me if I wanted to work at their, I'm assuming with her at their new location, because they aren't in the location that I was traveling to, which is good because there was a lot of crazy people that would come here. But to call me out of the blue 3 years later, thinking that I would want to work with you again. Maybe some people would. I am not that person. There is one company that I would definitely go back and work for because the boss is great. The workers there were great. The problem I had was I was traveling an hour one way to do remote work in an office. And when I left that position for a higher paying position, he told me I could have worked remotely. And I was like, how come nobody told me this? Like, I could have not been in the office. I could have worked from home. That would have been great. But I would definitely go back and work for them again. They are based in Ohio. They are no longer in Michigan. Just sad. I did try to reach out to them and said, "Hey, if you guys need help in Michigan, I'm available. I would love to come back." But, I left on good terms. So, she just said, we don't have anything in Michigan. If we ever do get back in Michigan or you come to Ohio, we would be more than happy to have you back. And I got to thinking, how many people will stay in contact with coworkers or work besties once they leave? And if you leave and you don't talk to a coworker for 3 years, is that odd that they call 3 years later and ask you if you want to work? Because I thought that was odd. Also, you're calling from the company that you currently work for and you're trashing that company to me, who I no longer work for. Just think it's odd. It's just odd all the way around. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I haven't spoken to her since, and maybe it'll be another 3 years before she contacts me again. I don't know. Oh, okay. So I think I'm going to go do some laundry, put the dishes away, and I'll do another video. I don't know what I'm going to do my next video on. It'll be on something. I will think of something. I have a lot of stories in my head. Maybe it'll be stories about the recruiting that I did and some of the crazy things that I've seen or was a part of, because I have a lot of those too. All right. I'm going to cut it here because I'm starting to ramble. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time.